Namaskar. Manaache Shlok, Shloka 11. Jani sarva sukhi asa kona ahe vichare mana tuchi shodhu nipahe mana twanchire purva sanchita kele taya sarikhe bhogane prapt zhale. Jai Jai Raghuveer Samartha. Oh, how I love this story. Weary of the endless stream of prayers, complaints, and tears brought before her, the goddess invited everyone to arrive carrying a bag filled with their individual sorrows. Empty them here, she said, pointing to the floor before her. Now, spend the day looking through everyone else's burdens. But then, before you leave, choose whichever bag you would most like to take home. By evening, every single person quietly picked up their own. In Shloka 11, Swami Samartha Ramdas places before us some bitter but undeniable truths of life. And strangely, in accepting them, life grows lighter. No longer a burden to carry, but a challenge to welcome. Come, let us break this down line by line. Line 1. Jani sarva sukhi asa kona ahe? Krishna explains in chapter 7, Shloka 16 of the Bhagavad Gita that there are 4 kinds of people who turn toward God. Some seek greater happiness. Some seek relief from sorrow. Some are driven by curiosity, and a rare few seek nothing but truth itself. Most of us begin with the first 2. We want more happiness, sukha prapti, or we want less pain, dukkha nivritti. My childhood and adolescence was steeped in relentless sorrow. I laughed it off often. It was how I survived. But looking back, I stand dazed that it did not swallow me whole. When I finally emerged from the last shadow of what had caused it, on the brink of a brand new shot at life, I desperately looked for ways to salvage what was left of me. I signed up for every self-help course, every healing modality, every scriptural study imaginable and available that even remotely held the promise of extricating me from the traumas of my past. If you have approached healing in this manner, you will know that the first invitation in any of these healing spaces is always the same. Tell us why you are here. I walked into those rooms half embarrassed, half ashamed, convinced that no one could possibly have been through what I had as a child. But then, one after another, across 3 continents I inhabited, complete strangers began telling their stories. Stories so unimaginably heartbreaking that I lay awake night after night, unable to comprehend that such suffering could exist in any human life. Course after course, my own grief began shrinking, not so much through the healing techniques I was learning, but through understanding an oft forgotten fact of human existence. And my grief simply stopped being the center of my universe. In its place grew an overwhelming gratitude that life had entrusted me with a test I had somehow found the strength to survive. And alongside it, compassion grew. Compassion for the common human predicament that seeks peace and happiness in a world that is essentially a womb of sorrow. For one and all. No exception. The opening line of Shloka 11 became the very first of the Manaache Shlok I memorized because it leaped right out of this revered scripture and validated itself as my lived experience. Swami Samartha Ramdas looks the mind straight in its eye and asks, Jani sarva sukhi asa kona ahe? Who in this world is completely happy? Line 2. Bichare mana tuchi shodhuni pahe. Kisa Gautami came running to the Buddha carrying the lifeless body of her only child, begging him to bring the boy back to life. The Buddha looked upon her with immeasurable compassion. Bring me a single mustard seed, he said, from a house that has never known death. Then I shall restore your son. Hope surged through her. She ran from door to door. Has death ever visited this house? Every family had mustard seeds, but every family also had a story. A father, a mother, a husband, a wife, a brother, a sister, a child. House after house, village after village, she ran as far as grief and exhaustion would carry her. But not one home had been spared. By the time she returned to where her little boy still lay, she no longer sought a miracle. She laid her son to rest and set out instead to discover whether there existed a freedom beyond this overwhelming sorrow that binds every human being. That journey transformed her into one of the Buddha's greatest disciples. Bichare mana tuchi shodhuni pahe. Swami Samartha Ramdas asks the mind to undertake the very same inquiry. Do not merely believe that no one escapes suffering. Look, observe, inquire for yourself, and see if you can find even one human life wholly happy and untouched by sorrow. Line 3. Mana tyanchi re purva sanchita kele. One of my favorite games to play during school lunch break used to be, who stole the cookie from the cookie jar? Number 3 stole the cookie from the cookie jar. Who, me? Yes, you. Couldn't be. Then who? Number 6 stole the cookie from the cookie jar. One thing the human mind instinctively runs away from is accountability. The moment life stops going according to plan, the moment something goes drastically wrong, the blame game begins, and the finger immediately points outward. Parents, partners, children, bosses, politicians, God, fate, anyone except me is responsible for this mess. Advaita Vedanta uncompromisingly places the mirror before us. The doctrine of reincarnation and the law of karma declare that nothing arrives by accident. Every thought, every word, every action leaves an imprint. Those accumulated karmas accompany us from one lifetime to the next until, in time, they ripen into the circumstances we experience today. Swami Samartha Ramdas reminds the mind of a truth it would much rather avoid. The one asking who stole the cookie is the very one who did. What you are experiencing today, good, bad, or indifferent, is the result of your own sanchita, accumulated actions from past lives, now ripened into your prarabdha, the portion allotted to this very birth. In short, your current life is no one's doing but your own. Line 4. Taya sarikhe bhogane prapta zhale. A thought-provoking story from our later Puranic tradition always makes me cautious when I'm at my altar, sincerely praying for something. In a previous birth, it is said, Draupadi performed such intense tapas that Shiva himself appeared before her and offered her a boon. She prayed for the impossible, a perfect husband who would be righteous, powerful, valiant, handsome, and wise all in one. Pleased by her piety and penance, Tathastu, said Shiva, and disappeared. Gahana karmano gatihi, says Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita. The ways of karma are unfathomable. Be careful what you wish for. We may strive with everything we've got. We may pray with all our hearts, but the result arrives in its own time and often in a disguise we never saw coming. Lifetimes later, Draupadi's boon was indeed fulfilled. She received every quality she had prayed for, except not in one husband, but spread across 5. And being the extraordinary woman she was, she bore that destiny of her own making with remarkable dignity and grace. Swami Samartha Ramdas concludes this shloka by reminding us that the circumstances we find ourselves in today are not random cosmic assignments. They are the ripened fruits of our own past deeds. Now, they have come and they have to be lived through. And we must remember, the story doesn't end there. Existence is a continuum until self-realization. Every thought we think, every word we speak, every action we perform is systematically becoming our future. The future is but the past consciously modified or unconsciously worsened in the present. It behooves us then not to complain about what has arrived, but to make the best of it and become better because of it. 4 Marathi lines in plain English. O beloved mind of mine, who in this world is completely happy? Reflect upon this truth and search honestly for yourself. Whatever you experience today is in accordance with the store of your own past actions. Receive it with dignity and grace and consciously become the author of what comes next. Until next time, Krishnaya Arpanamastu.